Thousands of people take the first step believing they're building their financial freedom. They sign a mortgage, buy a property, and tell themselves, now I'm an investor. But what they're actually doing is chaining themselves to a debt that will squeeze them for years. They're not investing. They're buying illusions disguised as progress. And the most dangerous part isn't the mistake itself, it's that no one warns them until they're already in, until the numbers don't add up, the rent doesn't arrive, the expenses pile up, and the anxiety starts eating away at their dreams. This video isn't meant to convince you to invest. It's meant to prevent you from becoming the next person to make this fatal mistake. When people hear invest in real estate, many immediately think of buying a house or apartment. They see it as a symbol of success, stability, maturity. But that idea is rooted more in emotion than logic. Most believe that buying and waiting is enough, that the property's value will go up over time, and that's it, guaranteed wealth. But that's not investing. That's gambling with blind faith. And in the real world, faith doesn't pay dividends. The real problem is mental. People enter the market with a buyer's mindset, not an investor's. They buy because they like the color of the kitchen, the balcony view, or a friend's recommendation. They don't analyze whether the property can sustain itself, generate real income, or remain viable long-term. So they enter the game without knowing the rules. Like children playing chess, thinking all pieces move the same. The result? They lose. They lose time. They lose money. And worst of all, they lose confidence. Here lies the heart of the problem. The most costly and silent mistake thousands make every day. Confusing a purchase with an investment. Because buying a property doesn't automatically make you an investor. If the property doesn't generate passive income, if you have to take money out of your own pocket each month to keep it afloat, then it's not an asset. It's an elegant liability. Many fall in love with what they buy. They install new curtains, decorate the walls, furnish it like it's their home, without ever stopping to ask whether anyone would actually pay to live there. And when they discover it's not that easy to rent out, or that the rent doesn't cover the mortgage, it's already too late. And you know what's worse? They don't even realize it's a mistake, because they live with the belief that the property will increase in value over time, without understanding that a vacant property isn't an investment. It's a loss. It's anxiety. It's frustration. They don't factor in vacancy. They ignore maintenance, insurance, common fees, and repairs. And when the cash flow turns negative, their dream of living off rental income becomes a nightmare that tightens month after month. This mistake doesn't just cost them money, it drains their energy, breaks them emotionally, and makes them believe the problem is the market, when in reality the problem is lack of strategy. All because they never understood this. The value isn't in the brick, it's in the cash flow. The good news? This mistake has a solution, but it's not solved with a cheaper mortgage or a prettier property. It's solved with a shift in mindset. First, think like an investor, not a buyer. This means one simple but powerful thing. You don't buy for yourself, you buy for someone else. Your personal opinion doesn't matter. What matters is whether someone else is willing to pay to live there. And not just anyone. You need to identify who your ideal tenant is, what they need, how much they can afford, and where they want to live. Second, analyze the cash flow. Don't be fooled by market value or future appreciation. A real estate investment that doesn't bring in income from day one is an empty promise. Before signing anything, make sure the property, after deducting all costs, mortgage, maintenance, taxes, vacancy, still puts money in your pocket every single month. If it doesn't, don't buy it. Third, study the area. What's the vacancy rate like? How easy is it to rent in that neighborhood? Are there schools, transportation, safety? The area must have real demand, not just aesthetic potential. Fourth, understand that credit is a lever, not a life sentence. Going into debt without a strategy is digging your own financial grave. Evaluate the type of loan, the term, interest rates, the down payment you can afford without bleeding, and above all, your tolerance for having the unit sit empty for a few months. Finally, don't rush. The biggest enemy of the beginner investor is urgency. Buying out of fear that you'll miss the opportunity is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. Great opportunities always exist for those who are prepared. And you prepare by studying, observing, calculating, and waiting for the right moment to act. Investing in real estate without financial education is like jumping into the ocean without knowing how to swim, just because the water looks pretty from the shore. What seems attractive from the outside can drown you if you don't have technique, calm, and vision. The most powerful advice I can give you is this: don't invest based on emotion. Invest based on strategy. Every property you buy should have a clear reason to exist in your portfolio. It should either generate income, protect your capital, or move you closer to your financial goal. If it doesn't meet any of those three, then you're not buying an investment. You're buying a dangerous whim. Learn to say no, even if everyone around you is buying. Even if your family says property never fails. Even if the salesperson pressures you with, "It's the last available unit." Because a real investor doesn't act on someone else's urgency, they act based on their own numbers. Don't buy a property to show off. Buy a property that works for you. Because the game isn't about accumulating houses. It's about accumulating freedom. And freedom comes from one thing only: steady, predictable cash flow. If this video helped you see things differently, then you've already taken the first step. Because real growth begins when someone tells you the truth no one else wanted to say. This isn't about selling you dreams or painting a perfect world where everything is easy. It's about telling you the truth, even when it hurts. Because only from truth can real freedom be built. And if you value this kind of direct, unfiltered, focused content with strategy, then this channel is for you. So here's what to do. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment if you've ever been close to making this mistake. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this before diving into real estate. We're not looking for thousands of followers. We're looking for thousands of people who want to stop working for money and start building a life where money works for them. The next step is yours. But don't put it off any longer.